Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our show tonight. We're running a bit late. It's already 7:15 Eastern Time. We're not going to do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, but we will continue it. I want to get right into what we want to talk about tonight, and that is fires. Fires in Southern California, literally all over the place. We have a picture here of a firefighter in the Pacific Palisades area of Los Angeles, fighting a fire in their downtown area. The fire is still spreading. It is 65% contained. Okay, 65% contained 2 weeks after the fire started. Earlier this month, strong Santa Ana winds created the ideal conditions for fire to spread, spurring flames to be on at multiple wildfires all over Los Angeles County. Firefighters are still battling the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire that ignited on January 7th. Those two fires have killed at least 27 people and destroyed thousands of structures. We're now at over 2,500 structures being destroyed or damaged. Two smaller fires are now posing a threat further south, prompting officials to issue evacuation orders and warnings throughout the area, all over Southern California. After brief respite last weekend, strong winds, Santa Ana winds have returned to Southern California. Red flag warnings and high wind warnings were issued across the region on Monday. I want to show you that fire map right now. This is the fire map of Southern California, reaching from Ventura County, Santa Barbara County to the north, all the way down to San Diego County and down into Mexico. Notice the dark orange areas. These are critical fire areas. The yellow areas are elevated, and the dark red areas are warnings, extreme fire warning area. Okay? Los Angeles wildfires right now. Earlier this month, like I said, strong Santa Ana winds created ideal conditions for rapid fire spread, spraying the California wildfires on and on all over LA County. Firefighters are still battling the Pacific Palisades fire and the Eaton fire that ignited, like I said, on January 7th. Countless people have been evacuated from the area, and now firefighters and authorities are allowing some of those people back in to see their properties or reoccupy those homes that have been spared from the fire. The Palisades and Eaton fires have stopped growing, but firefighters are still working to fully contain those blazes. As of the most recent update from the California Department of Forestry, the Fire Protection CAL FIRE and the Palisades fire was 23,713 acres. 23,713 acres and 59% contained. The Eaton fire is at 14,021 acres and 87% contained. At more than 23,700 acres in size, the Palisades fire, like I said, is about 59 to 63% contained, depending on who you talk to, either at LA Fire or CAL FIRE. The Eaton fire has burned more than 14,000 acres, 89% contained. On Monday, 2 days ago, the National Weather Service meteorologists again issued red flag warnings for Los Angeles and Ventura County. High wind warnings are also in place across San Diego, the forecast San Diego region. The Griffith Park fire. There's an observatory in Griffith Park in Los Angeles. In addition to the Palisades and Eaton fires, a brush fire ignited Monday afternoon near Griffith Observatory, but the LA Fire Department extinguished it and the flames only lasted 31 minutes. CAL FIRE has an update about the Palisades fire. Firefighters are making steady progress, and officials are reassessing evacuation orders to ensure safe returns. Crews are working with utility providers to repair infrastructure and address hazards like fallen trees and downed power lines. The public is reminded to stay vigilant on current fire conditions. Please continue to adhere to road closures and evacuation orders or warnings. CAL FIRE has an update on the Eaton fire. Let me give you a map about the Eaton fire here. This is the map of the Eaton fire. Okay? Operations continue to support firefighters and Los Angeles law enforcement, including the Sheriff's Office, in extinguishing hot spots and deep inaccessible terrain near Winters Creek, Mount Lowe, and Mount Wilson observatories. Mount Wilson is also home to many LA police, fire, and radio and TV station antennas and repeaters on top of the mountain. The repopulation of residents is ongoing, with zones of evacuations being released in phases to ensure public safety and utility agency safety. The National Weather Service in Los Angeles issued a red flag warning. Again, I want to explain what a red flag warning is. Red flag warning says that there is low humidity, high fire danger because of low humidity and the winds. The Santa Ana winds are turning the low brush into kindling. The high winds are creating very low humidity conditions, and it's drying out the low brush on the ground, creating real bad fire conditions. All it takes is a very little tiny spark to ignite a huge wildfire. Red flag warnings have been reinstated as of Monday and are continued today through at least tomorrow. Humidities will drastically lower to the single digits. Along with extremely dry fuel levels, this will create extremely critical fire weather conditions. And the fire spread with any of the fires. High rate of fire spread with any of these fires. Hereafter, with dry conditions lasting it through at least tomorrow. Additional rounds of enhanced offshore flow are likely Wednesday night through Thursday. With that said, Los Angeles red flag warning has gone into effect from noon on Monday until sometime on Thursday. Until sometime on Thursday afternoon. This afternoon, a large portion of Los Angeles and Ventura counties are under red flag warnings. A fire watch will be in effect from Tuesday evening through Thursday evening. A man was taken into custody this past Friday after admitting to having ignited a brush fire at Pioneer Park in Azusa, California. Los Angeles wildfires persist. Local law enforcement wants it contained. Now, I want to tell you this. Local law enforcement in Los Angeles and San Diego County have been upped. They have brought in the reserve officers in both the police and sheriff's departments, and they're on effective patrol all over San Diego, Los Angeles, and Ventura counties, out into the eastern part of LA. This arrest on Friday comes as California continues to battle these multiple destructive wildfires. The Pacific Palisades fire, like I've said, has been roaring through Los Angeles County, spreading throughout the region, spurred by powerful, dry Santa Ana winds. The fire was estimated to cover more than 11,802 acres and has forced at least 30,000 people to leave their homes. The Azusa Police Department said its officers responded to Pioneer Park shortly after 11:30 p.m. on Friday, following reports of a fire. Upon arrival, a witness directed officers to a man believed to start the blaze. The suspect, identified by police as Jose Carranza Escobar, has been found standing near the flames. Again, the suspect has been identified by police as Jose Carranza Escobar, found standing near the flames. Carranza Escobar police described as a transient. He admitted to setting the fires. He was then arrested on suspicion of arson and is currently being held in custody. Azusa police have urged everyone to remain alert as fires continue to affect the county. Azusa police wrote, "We must be very cautious of individuals who may enter our community with the intent to start fires. The Azusa police have staffed extra officers as other officers in other departments have done. Those officers are on duty due to the ongoing fire situation. We're taking a zero-tolerance stance on these types of criminal incidents." Azusa Police Captain Robert Landeros emphasized the department's zero-tolerance stance, adding that the wildfires have led to increased staff to be on the lookout for arson-type fires. It's obviously stressful for our communities who is already on edge. We've had our fair share of major fire over the years. We've experienced evacuations in this community. Fortunately, we've not experienced evacuations this time, so we've been able to divert resources from our police department to help out other neighboring communities and agencies. People who live along the foothills are at a higher alert status right now, and everyone is watching to prevent individuals who take pleasure in causing damage with fire. We want to stop that, and we encourage everybody to call 911 if you see something suspicious. All the agencies up here, including Azusa Police, have staffed extra officers out there to patrol high-risk areas to prevent this kind of behavior. We are looking actively for people that come into these areas to try and do illegal acts. At least 3 different blazes are currently active in the region as of this past Sunday. This is according to CAL FIRE. The death toll of the fires has reached 16 in some areas, and it's now over 34 people that have succumbed to the flames and smoke. Over 12,300 structures have been destroyed according to CAL FIRE today, with more structures at risk as these weather conditions, red flag conditions, do persist. Let's talk about San Diego County. I want to talk about San Diego County because I used to live there. I've told you all about Los Angeles County now. Let's talk about San Diego County. Folks, it's not getting any better. It really is not getting any better. Let me show you this video here. This is San Diego County. This is Palisades and Eaton Fire in Los Angeles. As the most recent update from California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, the Palisades fire is 23,713 acres. This is the Eaton fire here. You saw the Palisades area just a second ago. Earlier in January, strong Santa Ana winds spread, spraying flames at multiple wildfires in Los Angeles County. In addition to the Palisades and Eaton fires, a brush fire ignited on January 20th. The LA Fire Department extinguished the flames in 31 minutes. Okay? It happens. It happens at the blink of an eye. We need to be very cognizant of these fires, guys. We need to be very cognizant of these fires. Firefighters are still working to contain the Palisades and the Eaton fires now. Now, there is fire in San Diego County. Let's talk about the San Diego fires right now. There's a lilac fire in northeastern San Diego County. It's burning near the old Highway 395. The old Highway 395 was once the main artery between San Diego and Montana. Now it's Highway 15. The lilac fire's been burning near the old 395, which runs along the east side of Interstate 15 in Bonneville, California, 47 miles north of San Diego City. Structures are being threatened by the flames. As of the most recent update, the lilac fire is 80 acres in size, with moderate rate of growth. It has been 10% contained. Evacuation orders asking residents to leave immediately because of the threat to life. And that extends north of Calle del Tara, south of Palo Road, west of Interstate 15, and east of Dunland Ranch Road in northeast San Diego County. That's near Fallbrook and Pala, California. Evacuation warnings in which there is a potential threat to life or property extend further south to Camino del Rey, just south in east Bonneville. The Pala Fire, near the Pala Indian Reservation, northeast San Diego County. The Pala Fire ignited several hours after the lilac fire after just around 6:30 a.m. this morning. It is 17 acres in size and not at all contained. The Pala Fire, northeast San Diego County, is 17 acres in size and it's not at all contained. It started at about 6:30 a.m. this morning. It's burning north of the lilac fire near Interstate 15 in Palo Mesa. Palo Mesa is a resort area in northeast San Diego County. Evacuation orders have been lifted, and the most recent CAL FIRE update said that the fire's forward progression has been stopped. The forward progression of the lilac fire has been stopped. The forward progression of the Pala fire has been stopped. But evacuation orders are still in place for both those fires. Robert Johnson, I spoke to him earlier this afternoon. He's a fire captain with CAL FIRE in San Diego County. He said, "We have over 200 firefighters assigned to this incident from various different agencies. The winds were stronger earlier this morning, but they've died down. Firefighters are making good progress, and we are cautiously optimistic." The National Weather Service in San Diego, California, is presently in a red flag warning. Red flag warning. If a fire ignition occurs, conditions are very favorable for rapid fire spread and extreme fire behavior. Critical fire weather conditions are expected to persist through at least Thursday into Friday this week. The National Weather Service San Diego office has red flag warnings and high wind warnings in place. There is a fire just west of Poway City, California. West of Poway, California, where I used to live. I'm very familiar with this area. Strong winds had spurred on a brush fire that was ignited near Poway, California today, 22 miles north of San Diego City, Monday afternoon. On Monday afternoon, the fire started Monday afternoon. It's still burning. According to NBC Channel 7 in San Diego, the fire started near Ted Williams Parkway and Pomerado Road. Ted Williams Parkway runs east and west, and it connects with Pomerado Road. Residents living in the Glen Oak Way area, Wilsey Way, and Pomerado Road and Ted Williams Parkway were evacuated. The fire was 2 acres and spreading Monday afternoon, and is still not under control. Firefighters received the call around 1:20 p.m. The flames were burning near homes, according to the report. An evacuation point was established at Abraxas High School on Pomerado Road in Poway. Now, we all need to be very safe for these fires. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking at all. Let's go back to the fire map in Los Angeles. This is the Palisades fire map. Okay? We have elevated fire risk for several counties in Southern California, including San Luis Obispo County, Imperial down east of San Diego, Critical fire risk for Ventura, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, Kern, Orange, Riverside, and San Diego counties. The National Weather Service had red flag warnings in place across the region as of early Wednesday morning. The service has warned that conditions are very favorable for extreme fire behavior and rapid fire growth and posing a hazard to life and property. Significant fire weather conditions are ongoing into tomorrow, and with an increase in winds expected tonight, there's going to be severely dry conditions persisting. The National Weather Service in San Diego said today, we expect an uptick in Santa Ana winds Wednesday through Thursday tomorrow, in combination with a critically dry vegetation and relatively low humidity down to 2%. 2% humidity. That is deathly low. Okay? Humidity down to 2%, elevated to locally critical fire conditions will continue through late Thursday into Friday. Significant fire weather conditions are ongoing into Thursday and into Friday, with an increase in winds expected, especially Thursday morning, and severely dry conditions. In the meantime, again, we expect an uptick in Santa Ana winds through this afternoon into tomorrow. In combination with critically dry vegetation and relative low humidity, again down to 2%, there are critical fire conditions persisting into at least late tomorrow night and into Friday. Red flag warnings are in place until at least 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Red flag warnings are in place until at least 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Firefighters in California have battled a slew of major blazes that broke out, fueled by strong Santa Ana winds. This is going to continue for some time. We need the public's help. We need the public's help, ladies and gentlemen. If you see something, say something. Again, it's been mentioned on this channel before by some of you in the chat, and also I mentioned it before. You can go to Watch Duty. Download the app called Watch Duty. That will give you current fire conditions in a lot of different places, and will even show you videos that the county and the state have up in local fire areas. Watch Duty app. Okay? George Rashad in San Diego, actually I think is in San Diego, says there's a new fire in Castaic. Yes, there is. There's a new fire in Castaic in Los Angeles. George Rashad says it's a Hughes fire. We talked about that a few minutes ago. Okay? Now, guys, I'm not kidding now. I'm not kidding at all. There's high dollar homes near Santa Monica. There are very high dollar homes near Santa Monica. Dr. James Place put that up in the chat. I verified that because I've been in Los Angeles, I've been in Santa Monica, I've been all over the place there. This is very dangerous. This is very, very dangerous. My buddy Demon Catman, who's a mod on this channel, said he watched a video with California real estate agent who has basically stated that most of that area will never rebuild as due to the red tape and the time to rebuild and high dollar to rebuild. Very sad, but just what the powers want. The powers that be don't want people to rebuild. They want to rebuild it as a 15-minute city. They want a 15-minute city governed by who? The deep state. The deep state. They want dense population, apartments and condominiums. They don't want individual properties. They don't want individual properties, unfortunately. Okay? Catherine Sigerson said, how many fires right now? There's almost a dozen fires. I believe right now there's at least a dozen fires. The Poway fire. The Pala fire. Then we have the Lilac fire. That's 4 fires in San Diego County by themselves. There's other tiny fires still brewing in San Diego County and Los Angeles County as well. We have typically 24 to 25 fires every day that are ignited. Okay? Then we have the Eaton fire. We have the Palisades fire. We have the Hughes fire. Okay? They're all over the place. And all it takes is someone with a lit cigarette that tosses it out of their car, or someone that takes their car and puts it over dry brush, and the catalytic converter and the exhaust pipe of these vehicles start the fire. Please don't do that. Please don't pull off into dry brush. Okay? Arnold Smith says he's late here. I just appreciate you being here, Arnold. It's very much appreciated. Okay? Dr. Jamin's Place says there's parts of Santa Monica that are gated communities. You're right. And that sometimes helps protect people, but sometimes not. Because we have bad people, we have illegal aliens that are jumping over the fences in these gated communities. And when they start the fire, sometimes they can't get out. It's bad. It's very bad. I've seen it happen. Total Vagabonds from Ireland is here. Welcome, Total Vagabonds. We appreciate you being here. Does anybody have any questions about these fires? Does anybody have any questions about these fires? I'm very happy to take questions. Like I said, I spoke to CAL FIRE today. I spoke to the captain and the lieutenant at Azusa Police Department. Okay, since you guys don't have any questions about this, I'm just going to briefly go over some of the things that happened during the past 24 hours. Yesterday, President Trump fired a U.S. Coast Guard admiral. President Trump fired a U.S. Coast Guard admiral. Admiral Linda Fagan, who oversaw the U.S. Coast Guard, has been terminated for operational failure and misdirecting all of the organization's resources away from training, retention, and security over diversity, equity, and inclusivity. She would rather have had the liberal philosophy of diversity, equity, and inclusion rather than training in aspects of sailing and aspects of border protection. The Coast Guard is also part of Homeland Security to patrol the waters off the coast of the United States. Yesterday, the head of U.S. Coast Guard got fired. This is going to continue. I'm being told that already 1,000 people working for the federal government have been terminated as of yesterday afternoon. And that may continue. There are also several hundred people that have been put on terminal leave and have been given pay for a short while until they find another job. They were terminated with pay for a certain time period before they find another job. Now, I have something else that some of you have been talking about and a lot of people are very disturbed about. Let me show you this. Yesterday, when President Trump was sworn in, Supreme Court Justice Roberts came up to swear President Trump in. Melania Trump was sitting down behind President Trump. She had not yet gotten up before Justice Roberts started the swearing-in process. During the swearing-in process, because President Trump had not had the Bible to put his hand on, he was sworn into office without putting his hand on the Bible. Now, he may have been flustered. He may have not even thought about his wife standing there with the Bible, because she got up after the swearing in had started. I believe President Trump didn't even acknowledge it until after the swearing in process had concluded. I do not think it was a conscious effort by President Trump to avoid putting his hand on the Bible. Some people found this deeply disturbing. Like I said, I honestly do not think it was purposeful. I do not think this was purposeful, guys. Len Rom, I think you're talking about your friends in Southern California. I have friends and family all over that area. I have friends and family all over San Diego and Los Angeles County. Maria Redfather says here in the chat, supposedly President Trump didn't have his hand on the Bible because he doesn't want to swear to the corporation of the United States. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. President Trump is against the corporation of the United States because the corporation of the United States is deep state. And President Trump will not have anything to do with the deep state. Lynn Rom is saying, what's going on with the Hughes fire? The Hughes fire started earlier today, and I believe it's now out. Let me check my notes here again. Let me check something here. The Hughes fire started near Castaic Lake in the Los Angeles County area. Okay? It is spread over 8,000 acres in Los Angeles County. As dry vegetation and brutal Santa Ana conditions continue to boost fire conditions across Southern California. The brush fire spawned northwest of downtown LA just before 11 a.m. today. It has since maintained a rapid state of spread and spotting. The blaze quickly spread to 500 acres in just over an hour, before extending to 3,400 acres by 12:30 p.m. today. The fire is now spread to at least 8,096 acres across both LA and Ventura counties as of 4 p.m. today. Mandatory fire evacuation orders have been issued to neighborhoods surrounding Castaic Lake, about 10 miles north of Santa Clarita. Meanwhile, nearby neighborhoods have been under evacuation warnings. The entire Southern California region remains on high alert as these blazes recently broke out in parts of LA, Riverside, and San Diego counties. Now, the red flag warnings are going to remain in effect until at least tomorrow night, possibly into Friday. The Santa Ana winds will bring gusts up to 60 miles an hour, with gusts of up to 75 miles per hour for the mountain areas. Multiple small brush fires have, like I said a few minutes ago, have erupted in San Diego County on Tuesday before the fire crews quickly extinguished them. The 85-acre lilac fire was 90% contained as of this morning. The lilac fire in northeast San Diego County has now been 90% contained as of this morning. Crews also minimalized the nearby fires and POSSILE fires in San Diego County. POSSILE fires are just east of Fallbrook, California, near Palo Indian Reservation. Near Riverview near the Riverview area and also fires over in Riverview and clay fires in Riverside County. Okay? It's huge. It's huge, guys. George Rashad said firefighters are starting backfires on the Hughes fire trying to save homes. I'm glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that. But again, the Lilac fire is now 90% contained, and that's a good thing. Now, they talked about the Friars Road fire in San Diego City, near just north of Mission Valley, is a place called Friars Road. It's a long north to south running road, 2 lanes in each direction. There's a canyon off the Friars Road area. That's where the Friars Road fire broke out. I believe it's been contained now. That's in San Diego City, just north of Mission Valley. Any questions? Again, the Hughes fire broke out near Castaic Lake. It's now 8,000 acres and spreading. Don, one of my mods here in the chat, is asking where are they placing all the fire refugees. In San Diego County. They opened the Abraxas High School. The Abraxas High School on the north side of Pomerode Road in Poway, California. The other places are the recreation centers in Los Angeles County. They're placing the fire refugees, the evacuees, in the recreation centers throughout Los Angeles, including Santa Monica, and I believe it's what's that other place over there? Now I can't remember the other city over there near Santa Monica, but they've opened up the rec center. With that said, I believe that it's worse than that. I believe it's worse than that. I believe it was done purposefully. I believe it was done purposefully so they can start the 15-minute cities. Okay? Yeah, we were buffered for a few minutes. YouTube started screwing up again. I think we're back to full streaming status here. Ruthie B says they've not determined the cause of the Hughes fire as of yet. I think it was purposely set. I think it was arson. Dr. Jamin's Place says it's a very bad time of year to have these fires. I agree. Normally we don't have these fires until August, September time period. But these heavy Santa Ana winds, and by heavy I mean very strong Santa Ana winds, have been blowing in off the desert. The Santa Ana winds are commonly called desert or devil winds. They're commonly called devil winds. Canadian Patriot 1 says, time to call on Ron Buffer, the earthquake slayer. I agree. Unreal. Dr. Jamin's Place says 100 miles per hour. That would not surprise me. The National Weather Service told me earlier that they were expecting winds as high as 70 miles per hour in the mountain areas. 70 miles per hour in the mountain areas wouldn't surprise me at all. Now, Wages World. Don Patoka is talking about Wages World. He's right. Wages World has said we have ongoing solar activity. And the plasma radiation is soon to hit the Earth, probably within the next 24 hours. We've had very high solar activity. We've had M-class and R-class flares. I even believe we've had an X-class flare as well. Okay? That plasma radiation from the sun is causing somewhat of these fires, and I believe is also causing earthquakes. Okay? The plasma radiation, when it hits the earth, is like this. My fist is the earth. The plasma radiation coming from the sun goes like this. It hits the sun side of the earth first, the lighted side of the earth first, just like this. It envelopes the earth, and then it comes out the other side like this. Okay? But it heats up the earth's core. It also heats up the tectonic plates. It heats up the earthquake faults. Why? What does that matter on the earthquake faults? Let me show you. Okay? Let me take down President Trump's picture here. When the plasma radiation hits, it heats up the plates, it heats up the earthquake faults. All of the earthquake faults and the plates are held together by a bunch of junk. Dirt, grit, sand, grime, and biological material. When the plates are heated up, all that biological material and dirt and sand and grit heat up and turn into an oily, greasy-like substance. That allows the plates to more freely move just like this. It also allows the tectonic plates also to slip. One under the other just like this. One under the other just like this. Okay? It's going to happen. Now, Dr. James Place said in the next day or two we may experience 2 X-class flares. It would not surprise me one little bit. We've had these sunspots on the sun that have been very active for the past year. And even though the Earth is revolving around the sun like this, and as a result, some of those solar flares and those sunspots rotate out of our view. But they come back around as we rotate around the sun. When that happens, these active sunspots shoot off these solar flares either out into space that miss us entirely, or they hit the Earth and the other planets that are in near alignment with the Earth. That causes problems. That causes problems. Sage Pup is saying, so if the plasma can create earthquakes, how does it affect humans? Like how the moon does with oceans and our emotional bodies. Exactly. Hit the nail on the head with that one, Sage Pup. It does affect us. Our bodies are 70%, 80% water. So when we have these plasma radiation effects, it affects our bodies. Our bodies are 80%, 70% water, and as a result, our bodies gather that plasma radiation from our atmosphere. Okay? The plasma radiation permeates our bodies, and the water in our bodies absorb the solar radiation, the plasma radiation. It affects our moods, it affects the way we do things, it affects our mind and bodies. Some people have very, very bad arthritis, back pain, body pain of all kinds. It affects our moods, it affects our minds, and the way we work. Fact. Fact. Dr. James Place is saying it's ironic that our bodies are 80% water, just like the Earth is 80% water. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. The core of the Earth absorbs a lot of the radiation as well. The core of the Earth also heats up, but the plates above the core also heat up. The plasma radiation allows the Earth's plates to subduct just like this more freely when the plates heat up, and all that junk and grime, the biological material heats up, creating a oily, greasy-like substance, allowing the plates and the earthquake faults more freely move just like that. That's going to happen when these X-class flares reach Earth. Okay? By the way, guys, I completely support Wages World. Mark Wages and I are good friends. I appreciate that. I loved having him as a friend. I love having him as a work friend as well. Now, I appreciate what Wages World is saying. Thank you, Mark, for supporting this channel as well. Wages World is a dear friend of mine. Mark is a very dear friend of mine and has been for a long time. Mark, I understand, has had some health issues along with his family, and we love him. We pray for Mark and his family all the time. God bless you, brother, and God bless your family. We love you very much. Anyway, Mark, do you have any things that you want to talk to us about? You can call my number. I'll put you on the air. Mark, you can call me at any time. I believe you still have my telephone number. I'll put you on the air. I'd appreciate that. I got my phone right next to my broadcast computer here. Maria Redfeathers is saying, between the 3 flares as well as the planetary alignments, I hope that we don't have powerful earthquakes. It's possible. It's very possible. Whenever we've had these powerful X-class flares in the past, we've had 6.0 to 6.9 very strong earthquakes. We've also had 7.0 to 8.0 magnitude earthquakes. Very dangerous, very strong, dangerous earthquakes. Okay? Wages World says he's immobile in his car, so he can't call. That's fine. Mark, if you want to, let's talk after our program tonight, and we can arrange a time when we can put you on the air. I would love that. I would love to have Mark on the air. That would be great. Yeah, give me a call, Mark, anytime you want. After we get off the air, I'll be happy to talk to you anytime. Also, guys, you need to know that Adam Marfugel is also having some issues too. Pray for he and his family. Watch Marfugel Radio, Marfugel TV. Adam is a great man. In the past, I've not had a lot of good words for him, but he does speak the truth. Sometimes he gets off on tangents. We all do. But I support Marfugel. I support Marfugel 100%. Mark, I would love to have you on there. Mark says it's awesome. He will do that. That'd be great. I didn't know it will be a few days before we hear from Adam. I hope he's going to be all right. Deborah Collins says oral surgery on Adam. That's not fun. I've got to have some in the coming months myself. Adam had surgery today. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Dr. James Place says he's tough. He is. But I know what oral surgery is like. I've had some in the past. I have a lot of major surgeries to go yet. God bless Adam and his family. Thank you for that. Now, guys, I'm also wanting to talk about some earthquakes today. Okay? I've gathered a bunch of information, a lot of information. Seismographs have been talking all over Southern California. We have seismograms showing all of the activity in Southern California. But before I get into the seismograms, I want to show you a map of what we're talking about in Southern California. I think it's very pertinent what we're saying. Now, I'm only pulling this up so I can put it out in just a few minutes. This is Channel Island off the coast of Los Angeles. This is Channel Island just off the coast of LA. Look at the earthquakes here. Okay, there's several minor earthquakes here, but Channel Island has been having minor earthquakes and tremors. And again, we're seeing a lot of tremors here. Literally all day long, from 5 a.m. this morning until just about, I want to say, 2:30, 2:40 p.m. this afternoon when I pulled this seismogram. This is Channel Island, just off the coast of LA. This is ongoing. This is ongoing. Let me show you around Los Angeles on the USGS map. Okay, as you can see, we have some decent sized earthquakes here in the US. Before I get to that, I want to show you some earthquakes literally around the world. Starting off here in the Aleutian Islands. Aleutian Islands here had a 3.8 earthquake, but it's not just that. Let me enlarge this map here so I can show you exactly what happened over here in the Aleutian Islands near ARTIC, Alaska. This is a 5.1 earthquake. USGS has it as a 4.9. They reduced the size of this earthquake to a 4.9. I've done this research on this. This was at least a 5.1 earthquake. Regardless of what USGS says, this one was at least a 5.1 large earthquake. 5.0, 5.9 are considered large earthquakes. 5.5 to 5.9 are considered very large earthquakes. 6.0 to 6.9 are considered to be very strong earthquakes. 7.0, 8.0 to 10.0 are considered to be major earthquakes. Major earthquakes. So today over here near ARTIC, Alaska in the Aleutian Islands, we have a 5.1 large earthquake. This other earthquake here, 3.8, this was an aftershock of that earthquake. This was an aftershock of that 5.1. Let's go down here to Japan. Over here in Honshu, Japan. In the mountain range of Honshu, Japan right here. And yes, folks, this was a 4.5 earthquake. It was in the mountain range here in Honshu. There are some small communities and other people that live here in the mountains of Japan. This was a 4.5 moderate earthquake. Moderate earthquake. This shook those villages here in Japan. Right next to it, a 4.8. This also shook villages and people that lived here in this mountainous region of Japan. And I believe it affected this whole area to one extent or another. This was a moderate earthquake here in Honshu, Japan. Now, let's go off the coast of the volcano islands. I'm sorry, not the volcano. This is the Izu Islands. I'm sorry, I knew that. It was the Izu Islands here. This is a 4.4 earthquake here. I don't believe anybody lives on any of the Izu Islands southeast of Japan. This was in an unpopulated area of the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. As all earthquakes are, if it's out in the open sea and not near any landmass, the seawater absorbs the shockwaves of these quakes. This is a 4.4 in the Izu Islands here of Japan today. There are other earthquakes here in Japan, but USGS is not showing them. Let's go over to Taiwan. This was a large earthquake just southeast of Taiwan. This is a 5.0 earthquake. This earthquake happened at 3:11 a.m. Eastern Time, United States Eastern Time today. This again was a 5.0 earthquake. I believe it was far enough offshore that I don't believe anybody in Taiwan felt this quake. Down here, just northeast of the big island of Mindanao, Philippines. Okay, look at this. Right here we have a 5.7. Now I want to show you this. This was on a small piece of land here, southeast of Liloan, Philippines. Liloan, Philippines. Now, I do not think that there are a lot of people here. This was a large, very large earthquake here. 5.7 earthquake. This is 9 kilometers deep. 9 kilometers deep. Now, right up here, there are some people living in this area here, north of that earthquake. These people felt that earthquake. These people felt that earthquake. This earthquake is 7 kilometers east-southeast of Leeuwen, Philippines. Okay? That's probably right here. These people felt that earthquake. There's going to be some damage here. There may be even some fatalities here in the Philippines because of this quake. 5.7, very large earthquake here in the Philippines. This is north of Mindanao, Philippines here. Okay? Down here. Okay, this is Mindanao, Philippines here. It's the largest island in the Philippines. Okay, this earthquake here. This is a 4.7 moderate earthquake here. 13 kilometers east-southeast of Union, Philippines. Union, Philippines. I believe that's right here. Union, Philippines up here. This earthquake was absorbed by the ocean waters of the Pacific Ocean here in the Philippines. I believe this earthquake was an aftershock of a 7.4 earthquake that hit here, I believe mid 2024. A 7.4 earthquake hit here mid 2024. I believe this is it's an aftershock of that earthquake. Okay, let's go further south here. We drop down here to Indonesia. Look at this. USGS is lying about this. There are 14 earthquakes here in Indonesia. USGS not showing not one. When they don't show earthquakes, what does that mean? They are omitting the earthquake. Omission is a lie. Omission is a lie, guys. Dr. Jamin's Place said that earthquake in the Izu Islands is near the Mariana Trench. You're right. It is. It is. Now, before I go further east, I want to first talk about this earthquake in northeast India. This also is a 4.5 moderate earthquake. This is 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. Northeast India. Moderate earthquake. This is a 4.1 in Nepal. 106 kilometers northeast of Lombok, Nepal. We go further east here. These earthquakes are in the Himalaya Mountains so far. This earthquake I just lit up here in blue. This is in Afghanistan. Look at the mountain range here. The mountain range here extends from the Indonesia area up through Vietnam, Taiwan, Myanmar, up into India. And once it gets into India, we're in the Himalaya Mountains. This Himalaya mountain range is the edge of the plate. The edge of the plate comes up here to Afghanistan. That's why in Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan, we have earthquakes here. Today, this is a 4.3 moderate earthquake, also 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Nothing in Europe. Not a thing. That's BS. That's total BS. As I said before, over here in eastern Turkey, at the Turkish-Syrian border, we have 61 earthquakes today. 61 earthquakes today. And yet USGS is not showing one of them. All 61 of those earthquakes are aftershocks of an earthquake that happened on February 3rd, 2023. February 3rd, 2023, we had a great big huge 9.0, 10.0 earthquake. USGS not showing any of these earthquakes here. Earthquakes in northern Turkey, southern Turkey. USGS is not showing any of them. Earthquakes in western Turkey here. and out here in the Dokkanese Islands just west of Turkey. They're not showing any of them. Not one. Earthquakes down here around Crete, Greece. Over in mainland Greece. They're not showing any earthquakes here. There are 19 earthquakes here in Greece. Why are they not showing those? Inquiring minds want to know. Let's go over here to Italy. Sicily and southern Italy have had a handful of earthquakes here. Central Italy have had 22 earthquakes. And additional smaller earthquakes around, I can't even remember the town where the Vesuvius volcano is. It's going to erupt. The town is now pretty much evacuated. Scientists are expecting that volcano to erupt here in Italy at any time. But there are 20 some odd earthquakes here in central Italy. Up here in northern Italy, to the east and to the south here in Italy, along the Alps mountains here. These earthquakes are minor earthquakes and tremors here. Minor earthquakes and the tremors here in the Alps. Extending over into Germany, France, and Switzerland. Minor earthquakes and tremors here. Also over here into France. Why is USGS ignoring it? Heaven knows. We have minor earthquakes over here in Spain. A handful of earthquakes here in Spain. They're not mentioning one single one of them. Not one. Why not? Why not? Over here in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is still having moderate and small earthquakes here. Why? Because, folks, there is a rift zone here. A huge earthquake fault, and also, besides that, we have a volcano here as well. This area, sooner or later, is going to split off from Africa and maybe be a continent in and unto itself. But earthquakes here in Ethiopia, and they're not showing those earthquakes at all. None. Why not? Why not? They're showing an earthquake over here in Puerto Rico. Look at this. One earthquake over here in southwestern Puerto Rico. This is a small 3.0 earthquake. This is in Indios, Puerto Rico. Indios, Puerto Rico. 3.0 small earthquake here. Up here just north and east of there. This is Adjuntas, Puerto Rico. A 2.4 minor earthquake here. The earthquake down here in Indios here, this is an aftershock of an 8.0 and an 8.4 earthquake that hit here December 26th and December 28th, 2019. December 26th and December 28th, 2019, we had major earthquake 8.0, and 2 days later an 8.4 on December 26, 2019, causing major damage and fatalities here in southwestern Puerto Rico and literally all over the island of Puerto Rico. This is an aftershock of that quake. Okay? Now I want to drop down here to South America. This is a joke. This is a joke. Down here along the coast of western Chile. This is a 4.3 earthquake here. 52 kilometers northeast of La Serena, Chile. There are 14 earthquakes here in Chile, Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia. Why is USGS ignoring these earthquakes? Inquiring minds want to know. There are earthquakes here in Central America. There are earthquakes down here in southern Mexico. Why are they not talking about them? Why are they not talking about them? There's earthquakes over here in western Texas, southwestern Texas. Folks, there are swarms of earthquakes here. Why? Because, folks, we have oil and gas pumping operations here. We have oil and gas pumping operations here. This earthquake I've highlighted is a 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 earthquake. This is a 2.0 here as well. This is a 1.7 here. We go here where this red earthquake just happened. Red indicates it just happened. This is a 2.5 minor earthquake. 2.0 to 2.9 are considered to be minor earthquakes. This is the 2.5 near Mentone, Texas. Mentone, Texas. This whole area here is a great big huge oil field. It's a great big huge oil field. I've enlarged this map so you can see the oil field here. Each one of these squares or rectangles is an oil place, an oil plot, with pumps and jacks pumping oil and gas out of the ground here. Every one of these earthquakes today in southwestern Texas are oil and gas quakes. Oil and gas quakes. Let's go north. Demon Catman is talking Campo Flegrei. That is over in western south or central west central Italy. West central Italy. Okay? They've been having minor to moderate earthquakes there for some time. Okay? The magma there is shallow. And those people are feeling the earthquakes because they are shallow earthquakes. More people have been evacuated. The ground is shaking. And people are having their homes and buildings there fall to the ground with the shaking. There's only so much shaking that houses and buildings can take before they crumble. And that's what's happening there. Okay? Now, I'm going to go north here. Right up here. This is Colorado. This is southern Colorado here. Okay? This is a 2.3 earthquake in El Morro, Colorado. A 2.3 earthquake here in El Morro, Colorado. Look where it's at. This is not oil and gas here. This is the Rocky Mountains. This is the Rocky Mountains. The earthquakes here are coming from even up to Canada. Canada, guys, look at the Rockies here. These earthquakes stretch up into Canada, and USGS is not showing any earthquakes here in Canada. But we are seeing earthquakes here. This is Augusta, Montana, at 0.9 here. Let's go further south here. This is Mammoth, Wyoming, the Mammoth Geyser Basin in Wyoming. This is the 1.6 tremor here. We go further south. Paradise, Utah, northern Utah. Folks, we've talked about the Yellowstone magma chamber. The Yellowstone magma chamber is the size of 11 Grand Canyons. It stretches south from the Canadian border over into northern Utah and back over into Idaho, Challis, Idaho. Okay? That's the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber. The Yellowstone magma chamber is huge. Huge. But that's why we're seeing earthquakes down here in Paradise, Utah. This is 1.3 tremor here. Just to the northwest here, this is Snowville, Utah. A 1.1 tremor here. Again, this is all part of the Yellowstone magma chamber here. Yellowstone magma chamber. We have an earthquake here in Stanley, Idaho. Stanley, Idaho is just west of Challis, Idaho, where the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber is. Stanley, Idaho has its own problems. Stanley, Idaho has its own rib zone. This earthquake fault here. About 3 years ago, we had a 6.5 earthquake here. It's an earthquake fault. We're going to continue to see earthquakes here in south central Idaho. Stanley, Idaho here with a 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? Now, yes, we have earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. We'll talk about the Pacific Northwest tomorrow. The earthquakes there are minor earthquakes and some small 3.0 earthquakes up in the Pacific Northwest. Again, they're nothing to be really concerned about tonight. If there's something to be concerned about, we talk about it. But I want to talk about Southern California tonight. Let's go over here to Southern California right now. Right here. This is Mountain Club, California. Mountain Club, California, Fraser, California. This is a 1.3 tremor here. Further to the southeast here, this is Lebec, California. Lebec, California, LEBEC, 1.2 tremor here. Further northeast here, this is Tehachapi, California. I've talked to you in the past about Tehachapi. This is the 1.3 tremor here. This is on the Garlock Fault. The Garlock Fault. We go further northeast. Johannesburg, California. This is the 2.3 magnitude earthquake. Minor earthquake. We go further to the northeast here. Ridgecrest, California. Ridgecrest, California here. This is a 1.1 tremor here. We go north. This is Little Lake, California here. This is all part of the Mojave Desert here. This is a 1.1 tremor here. This is a 0.7 or 0.6 microquake here. Further north here. This is also part of Little Lake, California. This is a 1.0 tremor here. Right next to it is another 1.2. What is this? This is part of the Cozo volcanic area. The Cozo volcanic junction. It's a volcanic field here. Cozo volcanic field here. It's not just one volcano, it's a huge mammoth, what shall I say, a skating rink of volcanoes, for lack of a better word. It spans acres and miles here. Acres and miles here. This is a 1.2 tremor here in the Cozo volcanic field. And folks, this is only what USGS wants to report. There's also dozens of minor tremors and minor microquakes here all over the Cozo volcanic field. If I were to show you the seismogram from Cozo volcano, you would be surprised about how many earthquakes and tremors there are. But there's a bunch of them. There's dozens of them. And yet USGS says there's only one. USGS is out of its frickin' mind. Out of their frickin' mind here. Let's go down into Los Angeles here. Okay, this is Pear Blossom, California. Pear Blossom, California. This is 1.2 tremor here. Over to the west coast, Marina del Rey. Now USGS is saying there's a 1.5 tremor here in Marina del Rey. Wait till I show you the seismogram at Marina del Rey tonight. It's not just one 1.5 tremor here. There are a bunch of them. There are a bunch of them. USGS doesn't even come close to talking to you about how many earthquakes that are here. They're not showing any earthquakes in the greater Los Angeles basin. USGS is full of crap. Over here to the east, Redlands, California. This is on the San Jacinto Fault. This is a 1.1 tremor. Right next to it to the east, 1.8 in Mentone, California. Mentone, California. Let's see how many earthquakes we have. Up to the north, Running Springs, California, 1.4 tremor here. To the east, Uzbekistan, a 4.3 earthquake just a few minutes ago. Big Bear, California, also a volcano here. Big Bear volcano is a 2.0 earthquake. Big Bear Mountain is a 2.0 earthquake here. Further to the northeast here, Yucca Valley out in the desert, a 1.4 tremor here. And further to the north, this is Ludlow, California. Ludlow, California has had its earthquakes here before. 5.0 and 5.6 back in the 60s. This is still capable of a good-sized quake here. Okay? This is part of the Levick Lake Fault Zone. The Levick Lake Fault Zone here. Okay? Let's drop down to the south here. Northeast of the Salton Sea here. This is Thermal, California. Thermal, California, we have a 2.1 earthquake here. Interesting. Also 1.0 tremor here. That's northeast of the Salton Sea. Let's go further into northeast San Diego County. Actually, I'm sorry, this is just north of San Diego County. This is still in the Bakersfield, San Bernardino Mountain area. This is the 1.1 in Idlewild, California. I'm going to show you a seismogram from Idlewild that's going to blow your mind. There are also dozens of minor tremors here in Idlewild. It's in the mountain desert area of Idlewild in the San Bernardino Mountains. Further to the south and west, Aguanga, California. Folks, this is over near Pala Indian Reservation, where we have the earthquakes in northeast San Diego County. This is the 1.0 tremor here. Further to the northeast here, also on the San Jacinto Fault, 1.6 tremor here in the Anza Borrego Desert, northeast San Diego County. Also 0.4 here, Anza Borrego Desert. This is 0.4 here in the Anza Borrego Desert area as well. We drop down further south here. All these earthquakes are on the San Jacinto Fault, by the way. This is Borrego Springs. Anza Borrego Desert, right? This is a 1.0 tremor. This is a 1.5. Also in Borrego Springs. We go further south. A 1.1 also in Borrego Springs. All part of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. This is the Anza Borrego Desert area. Is it connected with the Salton Sea? You better believe it is. It's on the San Jacinto Fault. Let's go into San Diego County. This is Julian, California. In this case, Julian is right on top of the Elsinore Fault. This is the 1.1 tremor here in Julian. This is 18 kilometers east of Julian. 1.1 tremor here. We drop further south also on the Elsinore Fault. This is at the top of the mountains, the Chocolate Mountains here in Ocotillo Wells, California. Ocotillo Wells, California here. Okay? Now you see what I want to show you here. Now, they didn't have this here in the Imperial Valley here when I first started this broadcast. This has happened since we first came on the air. I'm going to show you a seismogram from Westmoreland, California tonight, here in the Imperial Valley. This is a 1.3 tremor here in Westmoreland, California. There are dozens of tremors and minor earthquakes here in Westmoreland. I'm going to show you a seismogram here to show you. But again, USGS is not showing you anything else. There are over 500 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley here. 500 earthquakes. Why are they not showing them? They're lying to the public. This is a 1.3 tremor here in Westmoreland. I'm going to show you a seismogram here in Westmoreland tonight. I'm going to show you a seismogram right here in Calipatria, California here tonight. This is Calipatria, California here tonight. I want to zoom in here. I want to show you this. Guess what we have here? Folks, men have drilled into the Salt Butte volcano to obtain steam, to power turbines to generate electricity for Imperial Gas and Electric. This is one of those huge turbine farms here in Imperial County. This is one of 9 turbine farms here in the Imperial County. Right here is another one. This is another bank of turbines here. There are 9 turbine farms throughout Imperial County here. Now I'm going to show you a seismogram from Calipatria. I told you I'm going to show you a seismogram from Westmoreland. I'm going to show you a seismogram from here in the town of Imperial, California. I'm going to show you a seismogram from way down here in El Centro. And Juanito is a friend of our family here. Juanito lives down here in El Centro. I'm going to show you a seismogram that's going to blow your mind here in El Centro today. There are 15 3.0 and larger earthquakes here in El Centro. 15 3.0 and larger earthquakes here in El Centro today. Why is USGS hiding them? Heaven knows. But here in El Centro, there are at least a dozen, if not more, 3.0 earthquakes and greater. I'm going to show you all the tremors and the earthquakes hitting here in El Centro today. Now, there's something else that you need to know about El Centro. Can anybody guess what else is going on here in El Centro? What else is going on here in El Centro, guys? What do you think's going on? Can anybody tell me what's going on in El Centro? Guess what? Here is El Centro Naval Air Station. El Centro Naval Air Station. We have jets helping protect the San Diego and Imperial Valley areas here. Fighter jets taking off several times a day here from El Centro Naval Air Station. Okay, so I'm going to show you a seismogram from Imperial. I'm going to show you El Centro. I'm going to show you Westmoreland, and I'm also going to show you Calipatria, but one other town here as well. This is the town of Holtville. This is where the Salton Sea Desert Research Station is. The location of the seismograph here. I'm going to show you some earthquakes and tremors here that are going to blow your mind. The reason I'm showing you this map is so you'll know the locations when I show you the seismogram. They're going to blow your mind. So I'm going to show you seismograms from all over Los Angeles. I'm going to show you seismograms from San Diego and seismograms from the Imperial Valley. So get ready for it. Here we go. Let's jump into these earthquakes that I want to show you. It'll blow your mind. I promise you it'll blow your mind. Here, this is the Channel Islands off the coast of Los Angeles. We have some minor earthquakes here, and we have a lot of tremors. We have minor earthquakes and a lot of tremors here. This is normal. In the past few weeks, we have had even more minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes here on San Clemente Island and the Channel Island here. That's happened. That's happened. That's going to continue to happen. I promise you it's going to continue to happen. We have a ramping up of earthquakes here in Southern California. Earthquakes are ramping up here. Let's go over the desert of Bakersfield. Look at this, guys. These are mostly tremors here in Bakersfield. This is mostly tremors here in Bakersfield. Okay? This is from the University of California in Bakersfield. Let's go over to Idlewild. Like I said, Idlewild, out in the desert area of the San Bernardino Mountains. Look at these tremors here. 1.0, 1.2, 1.3 tremors all over the place here. It's just not 1.2, 1.3 tremor. It's dozens. Dozens and dozens of tremors here. And even some microquakes here. When USGS says that there's only one earthquake, there are dozens here. Literally dozens. Juanito's here. Thank you very much for being here, Juanito. We appreciate, love you. We really do. Now, I want to go over north, or actually not north, but just southwest from Idlewild. Let's go over to Hemet, California. The San Jacinto campus. It's a community college campus in Hemet, California. They call it the San Jacinto campus. Look at the tremors here. We have tremors here all over, and I believe we've also had some 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes here in Hemet. Look at that. Tremors and minor earthquakes here. And that USGS continues to lie about what's happening or not happening. They don't want anybody to know. Let's go out to the desert of Rancho Mirage. Look at this. Look at this. Tremors all over the place. And just after, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At 10:07 a.m. this morning, there's a 2.3 earthquake here in the center part of the size we have here on your screen. Actually, maybe even a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Okay? All the rest of this activity is tremors here at Rancho Mirage, which is part of the San Andreas Fault series. Okay? Rancho Mirage, California. Now, let's go over to Victorville. My dear friend Isaiah's granny lives out here in Victorville. She's not often with us because I think she's caring for her grandkids. You notice just a little while ago we showed Ethiopia? Just 15 minutes ago they had a 4.8 earthquake in Ethiopia. Why is USGS hiding earthquakes? Heaven knows. Anyway, getting back to Victorville. Look at the tremors here. Constant shaking here. This is a San Andreas Fault here. Constant shaking on the San Andreas Fault. Okay? The shaking's going up and down from up in the southern part of the Cascadia subduction zone near Ferndale and Petrolia, California. All the way down here and all the way down into southern Mexico. The San Andreas Fault is alive and well. Okay? Folks, this is Victorville. Victorville, California. Now I'm going to go over to Chino. Let's drop over to Chino, California here. Look at this. Look at all these tremors. Now, Chino, California does not look very active right now, and it's probably true. We've had more tremors and minor earthquakes here in Chino than we have tonight. This is very light activity than we've had in the past. Very, very light activity here in Chino, California. This is nothing but tremors here. Yes, we've had minor earthquakes here as well in the past months. This is very light activity here in January for Chino, California. Let's go over here to Ellis, California, north of Los Angeles. No, before that, let's go over to Del Amo. Look at Del Amo. Now, I don't believe that anything here in Del Amo, north of Los Angeles, is any more than tremors. I don't see any minor earthquakes here. This is just tremor activity. But what is remarkable about this, it is constant, it is consistent. Tremor after tremor, second after second here, all day long. This seismogram covers from 5 a.m. this morning until about 2:40 this afternoon. Look at all these tremors. Hundreds of tremors here. Literally all day long here in Del Amo, California. Guess what? Let's look at Ellis, California. Ellis, California's had tremors as well, but here we are seeing 2.0, 2.5, and up to 2.7 earthquakes here. Up to 2.7 minor earthquakes. This is active. This is very, very active. Okay? We are having a lot of earthquakes here in Southern California, north of Los Angeles. A bunch. A bunch, literally. Now, let's go down south of Los Angeles along the coast. Let's go over to Laguna Niguel, California. Look at this. This is along the coast. This is just tremor activity. Tremor activity. It goes from about 1.1 to 1.2, 1.3 tremors, nothing more. Yes, we've had earthquakes here before. We've had earthquakes here before, but today it's nothing but tremors. Laguna Niguel, California. Now I want to go over to Long Beach. Look at Long Beach. This is the light hype. This is Long Beach, California. Here we're having a bunch of tremors. Yes, we may have had some 2.0 earthquakes here as well. We may have had. I'm not saying we have, but some of this activity here appears to be 2.0 as well. But these are large tremors. These are 1.8, 1.9 tremors. But again, this is constant, consistent earthquake activity. Constant and consistent seismic activity here, just over here in the LA area, Long Beach, California. Okay? I said what I'm going to show you tonight will blow your mind, and I think it will. Let's go over to Los Angeles City, downtown LA, at the City County building, downtown Los Angeles. Look at this. For the most part, we've had nothing but tremors. But look what happened after 8:45 a.m. this morning on this green line. Starting at 8:48 this morning, 2.5 to 2.8 earthquakes. 2.5 to 2.8 earthquakes here. Okay? This is nearly 12 full minutes of tremor activity. 12 full minutes of tremor and minor earthquake activity here in downtown Los Angeles. Why are they not reporting it? Why are they not reporting this in downtown LA? They should be. They should definitely be reporting this in downtown LA. There's no reason they're not showing this. There's no reason they should not be showing this. Ruthie B saying near Marina Del Rey. Wait till I show you Marina Del Rey. Bunches and bunches of tremors in Marina Del Rey as well. I'll show you that seismogram in a minute. But again, guys, this is downtown Los Angeles. And they are not reporting any of this. Ruthie B says, don't want to panic. No, we don't. But the United States Geological Survey on their map should be showing this. They should be showing this activity. It's not just here, but it's other places as well. And I'm going to show you that right now. Let's go over east to Miraloma, just south of Loma Linda Medical Center. This is Miraloma. We've had minor earthquakes and 3.0 earthquakes here in Miraloma before. Today, This is nothing but tremors. Nothing but tremors. This is on the San Jacinto Fault. Nothing but tremors, but it's consistent. Consistent tremors literally all day long here in Loma, California, just south of Loma Linda, where the medical center is, the renowned worldwide known medical center here. Now I want to go over to Moore Park, just north of Los Angeles. Look at this. Now, in most other areas of Los Angeles, we've seen tremors. In downtown LA, we showed some minor earthquakes. Well, guess what? Moore Park is not different. It's not different. Yes, we're seeing some tremors here, but we are also seeing some 2.6, 2.8 earthquakes here. One such after 5:21 a.m. this morning. A 2.7, 2.8 earthquake there. Then another one that's very evident here. This is after 2:19 p.m. today. 2:19 p.m. today, a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. Moore Park, just north in Los Angeles. Okay, let's move on here. Now I'm going over Orange County. We have a casino there called Pechanga Casino. At one point in time, a few years ago, I thought it was East County, San Diego. It's not. This is Orange County. Here we're seeing nothing but tremors here. Just a lot of tremors here. Okay, Orange County, California. All right. Let's go again to northern Los Angeles to Party, California. Look at this. This is also nothing but tremors. This is a lot of tremors. 1.3, 1.5, 1.7 tremors here. All day long. But it's not consistent. The tremors are not consistent. For example, up at 5 a.m. this morning at the top line here on the black line, we have some tiny tremors, 1.0 tremors. All of a sudden, every once in a while, a 1.3, 1.4 tremor come out. This is not consistent. It's not consistent. It's constant. Constant tremors here in Party, California. Now, I want to go, let's see, I talked about Laguna, California, didn't I? Let's now go to La Playa del Rey, California. Playa del Rey, California, look at this. Between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., nothing but tiny, tiny tremors. 1.0 to 1.1 tremors. Then after 8 a.m., all of a sudden we go from 1.0, 1.2 to 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. All kinds of tremors at Marina del Rey, California and Playa del Rey, California. This is the north coast of Los Angeles. We went from nothing but tremors, very, very tiny tremors down Laguna to up here north of Los Angeles. We see the tremors increase here. A definite tremor increase here along the coast north of Los Angeles. There are a lot of expensive homes here. A ton of expensive homes in Playa del Rey and Marina del Rey along the coastline. Tons of them. Now, I want to go to Rinaldi. Rinaldi also is north of Los Angeles. Look at this. Here we've gone from constant and consistent tremors here. But after 6 a.m. this morning, what happened? The size of the tremors increased here. the size of the tremors increased from 1.1 and 1.3 tremors. All of a sudden, we've gone to 1.4, 1.5 tremors here. And down here at the bottom, at approximately 2:45 to 2:46 p.m., guess what? We've had some 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes, minor earthquakes. This one here at just after 2:45, almost 2:46 p.m. this afternoon. Then again, just about 4 minutes later, another 2.0 earthquake. Okay? Rinaldi, California. Why are they not showing this? Yes, there's a bunch of tremors here, but there's also some minor earthquakes that they're not even talking about. Nothing said here. Demon Catman said the correction fluid bit seems to be on all the seismographs. Yes, you're right. Look on the right-hand side here on the center of this seismograph. All of a sudden, what happened? They turned the seismograph off. Just about 9:59 a.m. this morning, they turned the seismograph off for a full minute here. They turned the seismograph completely off for a full minute. Why? Why? Inquiring minds want to know. It also appears to happen as well at 9:25 a.m. this morning. About a minute there on the red line here. About a minute there where they turn off the seismograph. Seismograph completely off. Why? Inquiring minds want to know. Why did they do it? That's Rinaldi, California. I want to go now to Rio Hondo. Rio Hondo is also north of LA. Here we have nothing but tremors. Nothing but tremors here at all. Yes, there are areas here that have nothing but tremors. Then all of a sudden we get into these minor tremors and minor earthquakes. Completely different here. Completely different. Yes, Ruthie, they turned off the seismograph. Why? Why did Caltech and USGS turn them off? They do it on the other seismographs as well. On the other seismographs, they turn it off for longer periods of time. What happened during that time period was they completely erased it. Yes, they are erasing information. They're constantly erasing information, not showing it, not allowing it to be shown at all. Why? You have to wonder why. Let's go out to the municipal airport in Santa Monica. Just north of Santa Monica Airport, we had fires, right? We had air tankers here landing and picking up water to drop water and fire retardant here at this airport to drop at the Pacific Palisades and the Eaton fires. Here in Santa Monica Airport, all we have is tiny tremors and minor tremors. 1.0, 1.2 to 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. Santa Monica Field here. Now, let's go over to Anaheim. I showed you what was happening at Long Beach just a few minutes ago. Let's go over to Anaheim, California. This is State Street in Anaheim. Look at this. Yes, we are having some minor tremors here as well. But look at these earthquakes. Look at these earthquakes. 2.0, 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes. They're all over this seismogram. Now, I do not think we had any 3.0 and large earthquakes. Otherwise, they would have to shut down the rides at Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. That's required by law when they have at least a 3.0 or large earthquake. I don't think this happened today. These are just minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes cannot be felt. 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes cannot be felt. But we are approaching 3.0 here. These are all minor earthquakes here in Anaheim. Okay? Sage Pup was here earlier, Heather. I haven't seen him in the last few minutes here. Happy anniversary, Dawn. Had Dawn's wife still been with us, she would have been here to help celebrate with Dawn. We send Dawn love and hugs and great thoughts to Dawn and his sweet wife that passed away last year. God bless you, Dawn. We love you. We love you lots. That's Anaheim, California, guys. Anaheim, California. All kinds of activity, right? Let's look at the University of Southern California in LA. Here we're seeing nothing but tremors, but constant tremors. Constant tremors, constant minor shaking here. Nobody feels these. Nobody feels any of this. But this is constant minor tremor activity. Let's continue here. Now, before we leave the Los Angeles area, let's talk about Walnut La Puente. Over in East LA, we have a volcano. We've talked about this before. The Walnut La Puente volcano. This volcano, over the years, has hardened. It has not erupted in hundreds of years. So we have the great big huge volcanic rock at the top of the volcano. Over the years, it's gotten dirt and sand and other properties here. It's grown trees and everything else here. But this is the volcano. Look at the earthquakes here in Walnut La Puente. Okay? Look at this. 3.0 and large earthquakes here. I believe some of these earthquakes are at least 3.5 to 4.0 earthquakes. Felt earthquakes. Felt earthquakes here. You notice they cut off the top and the bottom of these earthquake sequences? They don't want us to know how strong these earthquakes were. Melania and President Trump are celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary today. That's awesome. Congratulations, Mr. President and First Lady Melania. We love you very much. Thank you for being the leaders of our country. We appreciate it. But look at the earthquake activity here. This is volcanic. This is all volcanic activity here in Walnut La Puente. Hurricane Heather, we love you too. Hurricane Heather says here in the chat, love y'all, fam. Hurricane Heather is a wonderful lady. I've known her for probably 6 years now. A great lady. She's been one of our mods forever. I love and appreciate her very much. Carol and I just love her to death, as we love all of you. Anyway, this is Walnut La Puente. Look at all these earthquakes. And these are felt earthquakes. These are all felt earthquakes. Okay? Now, let's go down to San Diego, California. My old stomping grounds. Well, before we do that, let's go over to Watts. Let's go to Watts. Gang-infested Watts. Look at this. Most of the time we just have tremors. But at 6:49 a.m. this morning, We have a 3.0 earthquake. We have a 3.0 earthquake that lasted 10 seconds. And after that earthquake, they shut down the seismogram. They shut down the seismogram for about 2 minutes. When they turn it on, you see a swipe up to the top, towards the top of this seismogram. That means they turned it back on. And then you can see the other activity going down after that. Why did they turn this seismograph off after the 3.0 activity? We don't have any record of it. This activity may have lasted longer time or gotten larger. Again, I ask the question, why did they turn this seismograph off? Why did they turn it off? Inquiring minds want to know. Watts, Los Angeles. Watts is not a good area. It's not a good area at all. I've been there. Now, before we leave LA area, I want to go over to Rancho Palos Verdes. Rancho Palos Verdes is just east of where my wife was born. Rancho Palos Verdes. We have some tiny tremor activity. We have some microquake activity, but we also have some mid-range ones here. 1.3, 1.4, and maybe even 1.9 earthquake that happened today. And that earthquake happened after 9:57 a.m. this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake at 9:57 a.m. this morning. Tremor activity except for that. Interesting enough. Rancho Palos Verdes today. Okay. Now let's go to San Diego County. Okay. Over to Julian. Let's show Julian here. Look at this. They showed one tremor here. A 1.4 tremor here in Julian. Look at all the other tremors here. Like I said, it's just not one tremor or one earthquake. It's dozens. It's dozens. In this case, it's nearly, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tremors here, as well as some tiny tremor, 1.0, 1.2 activity. Okay? Why are they not showing all of them? Or are they just showing one as a representative for the others? I don't know. That's Julian. Let's go over to Cuyamaca High School on the east side of San Diego County, in the Cuyamaca Mountains, East San Diego County. Look at this. This is Cuyamaca High School. Look at all the minor tremor activity here. This is normal. This is normal, what we see every day. I watch this every day. Folks, this is the San Jacinto Fault causing these tremors. The San Jacinto Fault causing these tremors here at Cuyamaca High School. These tremors can't be felt, but are we going to see large earthquakes here on the San Jacinto Fault? The answer is yes. When? We don't know. We absolutely don't know when the next earthquakes are going to happen. Let's go into not East San Diego. Let's just go into San Diego City now. Now I'm going to San Diego Mission Control at the SDG&E building. This building here at the SDG&E building is off of Friars Road in San Diego. What else happened here today off of Friars Road? We had the fire here, didn't we? We surely did. Off of Friars Road today. Look at these tremors here. We have some microquakes at the top of this seismogram. We have some 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 tremors here all day long. These are caused by the Rose Canyon Fault. the Rose Canyon Fault coming out of Los Angeles. Okay? The Rose Canyon Fault goes inland off the seacoast, inland around Encinitas, and it goes south into San Diego City. It goes out of San Diego City into San Diego Harbor. The Rose Canyon Fault is causing this tremor activity. The largest activity appears to be 1.2, 1.3 tremors here. Just after 11:15, actually about 11, what shall we say, 11:27, 11:28 this morning. Tremor activity here, San Diego City. Now, let's go over into the Imperial Valley. In the Imperial Valley. When we talk about the Imperial Valley, we constantly think about the Salton Sea. Yes, the Salton Sea is on the central north end of Imperial Valley. Okay? What else happens there? What else happens here around the Salton Sea? We have the San Andreas Fault that runs the length, the east side of the Salton Sea. Okay? We have the San Andreas Fault that runs the entire length of the east side of the Salton Sea. It goes over, starts over in the Imperial Valley around North Shore Salton Sea, on the northeast end of the Salton Sea. It continues southbound until it gets to about halfway down the length of the Salton Sea to Bombay Beach. Let's look at that. Look at this, guys. Look at this. We see this every day here at Bombay Beach. 3.0 earthquakes all over the place. And the agencies cut the tops and the bottom of these quake sequences off. What does this mean? Right here with just this shows 3.0 activity. 3.0 small earthquake activity. These earthquakes were probably close to 3.5 to 4.0 earthquakes. They cut off the tops and the bottom of these sequences because they do not want us to see how strong these earthquakes were. This is the the San Andreas Fault. This is the San Andreas Fault. Then we go down to the southeast side of the San Andreas Fault. What do we have there? Calipatria. This is a USGS seismogram here. The others come from Caltech. All the other seismograms so far have come from Caltech. What do we have here? This particular seismogram starts at 3 p.m. yesterday. 3 p.m. yesterday. Each line here is 15 minutes long. Each horizontal line here represents 15 minutes of time. We're seeing earthquakes here, right? Oh yes. We're seeing some tremors and earthquakes. These earthquakes are caused here by magma. These earthquakes here at Calipatria are caused mostly by magma. Yes, there are earthquakes caused here by regular seismic activity as well. But here, on these horizontal lines, we're seeing magma movement. It's called magma pulse signals. 4.8 earthquake in Guatemala 15 minutes ago. And you can bet your bottom dollar that USGS is not going to show it. Back here in Calipatria, California, Imperial Valley, we're seeing some earthquakes. Magma pulse signals, guys, where the horizontal lines are thicker and then get thinner and get thicker again. That's because magma is coming into the upper magma chambers of the Salton Butte volcano. So we see 2.0 earthquakes here. Over here to the right on that vertical red line here. The vertical red lines are the computer telling the seismologist, hey, look at this. This is important. This particular red line here is a 2.3 2.4 earthquake. 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. There's another vertical line just above it on the very right side. That appears to be also at least a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Yesterday afternoon. Look at all this other activity here. After 1815, I'm sorry, not 18, 1615, 4:15 p.m. We're seeing some some 1.8, 1.9 tremors here, as well as other magma activity here, magma pulse signals. But after 6:40, we do not see hardly any other tremor activity. Why? Because, folks, the seismologists turn down or turn off the seismograph. They turn down or turn off the seismograph. So from here, say after even, I'm gonna say after 6 p.m., 1800 hours, we hardly see any other activity. Any activity that's showing here is tiny. That is because it has to the seismic activity has to overcome the electronic turndown. That means this activity is larger than they're showing it here. The seismic activity has to overcome the turndown from the machine. So after 6 p.m. we hardly see anything here. We hardly see anything here. Even after midnight here. See where it turns 000 hours? 1:22 this morning, 1:22, which is today's date, on the far left-hand side. Look at that. All we're seeing is tiny tremor activity and tiny magma pulse signals. The activity is larger than it normally is, but they're only showing minor activity because the activity is having to overcome the electronic turndown of the machine. Then all of a sudden after 4 a.m. it starts. They turn up the machine again. So we've come from 6 p.m. last night to 4 a.m. this morning. 10 hours. 10 hours from the time the seismologists turn down the machine until it starts registering earthquakes again. Folks, this is not natural. This is an electronic turndown. Because right after they turn up, what happens? Look at all this activity here. From 4 o'clock on, look at the activity here. And it gets larger and larger. I believe we probably had 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here in Calipatria. And some of it is magma induced. Some of it is magma induced. This is also where the San Andreas Fault comes out from underneath the Salton Sea. At Bombay Beach, the San Andreas Fault goes underneath the water. It comes out on the north side or the south side of the Salton Sea here in Calipatria. So we're seeing magma-induced earthquakes, and we're also seeing seismic-induced earthquakes here. And you can tell. You can tell. Because the magma pulse activity stops and the other earthquake activity begins. Where we see magma pulse activity and we see the earthquake activity, the magma of the volcano is causing that activity. And folks, we're seeing 2.4 to 2.7, maybe even 2.9. 2.9 activity at approximately, I want to say, 12:10 p.m. today. 12:10, 10 minutes after noon. Look at that. And then that red line here. That red line here is huge. It's long. And the top of it's cut off, and also the bottom of it's cut off, but It also reaches down here far enough. This may have been a 3.0 earthquake here. This may have been a 3.0 earthquake here. But look at all this activity here. From 6 a.m. this morning, actually 4 a.m. this morning, until 4:45, 5 p.m. this afternoon. 12 hours of activity here. 12 hours of activity. It doesn't just stop after before 4 a.m. or after 6 p.m. last night. They are hiding 10 hours of activity here at the Calipatria seismogram. Hiding it. Why? Why? Inquiring minds want to know. They should be doing it. I've talked about this kind of activity before. When USGS or Caltech hides the information, it's a violation of our rights and a violation of law. Okay? If I would have done this when I was a cop, they would have thrown me in jail and thrown away the key. It's called falsified data. Falsified data. You cannot falsify reports. You cannot falsify reports at all. It's against the law. It's against the law. You can't do this, yet they're getting away with it. Linda Covington's kind of being funny here, but not. USPS, you're fired. Send in the robots. Send in the robots to do the job. Yes, they could do that. But who programs robots? Who programs robots? Now, folks, I think it's a tragedy here. I think this is a tragedy. It should never have happened. It should never have happened, not during my lifetime or yours. It should never happen. Now I want to drop down to Westmoreland. Okay? After the San Andreas Fault leaves Calipatria, it heads southwest over here to Westmoreland. Look at the earthquakes here in Westmoreland. Look at that. This is 5 a.m. this morning. 5 a.m. this morning. Look at all that activity. 1.0, 1.1, 2.2, 2.0, and I'm even saying here at 5 or 6 a.m. this morning on the left-hand side on the black line. I believe we're having 2.8 earthquakes here. From 1.2, 1.3 tremors to 2.8 earthquakes here this morning. Westmoreland, California. The San Andreas Fault, guys. The San Andreas Fault. Then what happens after 6 a.m.? It gets quiet again, or relatively quiet. Tiny tremors here. Tiny tremors until 2 p.m. today. At 2:01 p.m. today, we had some tremors, and it quickly led to 3.0 earthquakes. Quickly led to 3.0 earthquakes, back to back. Then it looks to be 2.9, 2.7, 2.8. This sequence lasted nearly 2 minutes. And after that, the secondary quake lasted. The secondary quake or secondary wave lasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. The secondary wave lasted 9 minutes. That means they cut off the top and the bottom of this first sequence. These earthquakes probably were 3.5 to 4.0 earthquakes this afternoon. Westmoreland, California. The San Andreas Fault. We saw the activity over at Bombay Beach. We saw some activity at Calipatria, and now at Westmoreland, we're seeing even more. Incredible. Incredible. Yes, we have friends here in Westmoreland as well. There is a friend of ours in Westmoreland. He lived there with his wife. His wife died about 2 years ago, unfortunately. She used to call me when she felt earthquakes. Incredible. Anyway, that's Westmoreland. Guess what? It doesn't stop. Let's go down to the town of Imperial. Let's go down to the town of Imperial here. Guess what? Watch this. Okay? Up at the top of the seismogram here in Imperial, 5 a.m. here at the top. 2 hours go by and it's just minor microquakes and tremors. Nothing much. Then all of a sudden, just before 7 a.m., the tremors and earthquakes kick in. Look what we're seeing here. These are minor tremors and minor earthquakes after that. The minor tremors range from 1.1 to 1.9, and I believe we're also seeing a few 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes here. The town of Imperial here. Yes, these earthquakes cannot be felt, except for very, very sensitive people. This is Imperial. Now, Juanito, you get to see what's happened to you. Juanito, I'm sure you felt some of these earthquakes in El Centro. This is no joke. This is no joke. Poor Juanito. Look at this. Now we are seeing full-blown 3.0, maybe 3.5 earthquakes here. Look at these longer vertical lines. These are 3.0, 3.4, maybe even 3.5 earthquakes. Yes, we have some minor earthquakes here as well. 2.0, 2.9 as well. Look at these earthquakes. Some of these earthquakes are caused by magma. Magma heading from the Pacific Ocean to the Salton Butte volcano. Magma heading from the Pacific Ocean to the Salton Butte volcano. Others of it are earthquakes generated by the what? San Andreas Fault here. The San Andreas Fault. Juanito, if you're still with us, I would like to ask, have you felt any of these earthquakes? Did you feel any of these earthquakes in El Centro today? These are felt earthquakes. Juanito says we're still feeling some shaking. Wow. Still feeling shaking. And this has been happening all day long. This particular seismogram, I pulled it just after 2:40 p.m. today. 2:40 p.m. today, and it's still shaking. Juanito, we hope you and your wife and kids are going to be okay. I don't think this is going to stop. Charlene is here. Ozark Lady is here. Charlene, are you Ozark Lady? Guys, this is what's happening in the Imperial Valley. We're not done yet. I have one more stop to make. It's southeast of the town of Imperial. Let's go over here to Holtville. Good old Holtville. I used to come down here for debate tournaments when I was in high school. Holtville, California. Here we're having tremors. We're also having some minor 2.0 earthquakes as well. Look at this. And over here, just after 11:17 a.m. this morning, on the red line. This may have been 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes here. Still very minor earthquakes. Tremors and minor earthquakes here in Holtville. This is at the Salton Sea Desert Research Station here in Holtville. Juanito says, yes, we're okay and ready to go in case we have to leave. I'm happy to hear that, Juanito. I'm very happy to hear that you're ready and prepared. God bless you and your family. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Juanito and his dear wife and kids sent my wife and I a card and a couple things for our dogs last Christmas, a year ago. And my dogs are still playing, or our dogs are still playing with those toys even today. Our dogs go to their toy box and pull them out and throw them up in the air and gnaw at them and everything else. They have a good time with them. So Juanito, guess what? They're awesome. Thank you so much. Do you guys have any questions about any of the earthquakes we talked about here in sunny Southern California? It's happening. It's happening. Do you guys have any questions for us? I'd be happy to talk to you about those. Any questions? And Pickering says, I hope there's no more deaths in these fires. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I worry about this Pacific Palisades fire, and I worry about the Eaton fire, and I'm worrying about the fire up in northeast San Diego County. The fire in northeast San Diego County is near homes, and there were some evacuations there. I'm definitely worried about those people. God bless our citizens in Southern California. President Trump is flying over North Carolina, over here in North Carolina on Friday. Then he's flying over to California as well. There will be more help for the fire victims and the Hurricane Helene victims here in North Carolina. President Trump is going to make sure those people are taken care of. And by the way, today my wife and I sent $250 to Samaritan's Purse for helping the people here in North Carolina. We sent $250 to Samaritan's Purse for the people in Western North Carolina. I want to thank all of you for helping contribute to our program, because some of that money has also gone to those people here in Western North Carolina. We appreciate each and every one of you who contribute to our program here on Super Chat, who also send money via the post office, and who also send money through our PayPal. We really appreciate that. Now, our dear friend Heidi Petrie sent us another PayPal donation just the other day. She sent it the day before yesterday. She sent us $30 PayPal donation to our PayPal the day before yesterday. We really appreciate it. We really do appreciate it. It means a lot to us. You and YouTube helped us earn over $600. And like I said, we just sent another $250 to Samaritan's Purse. I love the people here in North and South Carolina and Georgia. We sent a lot of money recently, probably close to $500 to the survivors of Hurricane Helene. We appreciate that so much. Now today, I didn't bring it with me. The card is downstairs. Our friends John and Laura sent us a beautiful train card. Pictures they took of a Union Pacific train going through Oregon. It's cool. Tomorrow I'll show you the card. They also sent us another American Express gift card for $25. We really appreciate that a lot. We really do. I want to thank you all for your donations to PayPal and to our Super Chat here. It means the world to us, knowing that you're helping us support the people here and helping support our program. I want to thank you from the bottom of Carol and our hearts. We love and appreciate each one of you. We really do. Now, as I have talked to you about spiritual matters in the past, I'm going to continue that right now. At the end of our programs, we have a small devotional. I want to quote from the scriptures here. Yea, behold, I will tell you in your mind and in your heart, by the Holy Ghost, which shall come upon you, which shall dwell in your heart. Now behold, this is a spirit of revelation. Behold, this is the spirit by which Moses brought the children of Israel through the Red Sea on dry ground. Now, here is another part, and it's important. Therefore, this is thy gift. The gift of the Holy Ghost is to each one of us. This is thy gift, apply unto it. And blessed art thou, for it shall deliver you out of the hands of your enemies. When, if it were not so, they would slay you, and bring your soul to destruction. The Lord gives us the gift of the Holy Ghost. Gives us the gift of the Holy Ghost to save us, to help us, to guide and direct us. Through the gift of the Holy Ghost, we get revelation from God. We talked about this many times over the past few years. I myself have received revelation from my family and for those obligations that I have. The Holy Ghost can guide and direct each one of us if we're listening. If we're listening. The Holy Ghost can guide and direct each of us. Each of us can receive personal revelation. I bear testimony to that. I bear testimony to that. I ask each one of us today to reach out to God, to pray. As this meme here says, never forget. Nothing is more powerful than prayer. Nothing is stronger than faith. And nothing is greater than God. Nothing is greater than God. Here, Old Testament, Jeremiah 29, verse 11. Let's look at this. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, to make complete, safe, and sound. He plans to prosper each one of us. For I know the plans I have for you. God's plans are perfect, and yet unknown to us. He plans to prosper us, to make us complete, safe, and sound, and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. God creates beauty from ashes. Isaiah 61, verse 5. We will be with him, taken care of in every possible way. He has plans to give us hope. He has plans for our future. Hope. Lord has expectations, fully and knowing it will be so because God keeps every promise. God keeps every promise to us. When we pray to him, he covenants back with us. He comes back with us so we'll know when the revelation hits us. Lord God blesses us and takes care of us every day. I love Jesus Christ, our Savior. I love our Heavenly Father. May you, each one of us, be guided and directed by the Lord. Each one of us has the right and the privilege to have personal revelation from God through the gift of the Holy Ghost. I ask the Lord to continue to bless you and guide you in everything you do. Carol and I love each one of you. As we've grown to love you over the years, we ask God's blessings to be with you, to take care of you and love you. As we leave you tonight, be advised, if anything else happens tonight, we'll be back with you to talk about it as soon as the information becomes available, even into tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we will see you sometime after 6 p.m. tomorrow night with another episode of Emergency Management Associates. We hope you have a good night and a better tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. We love you. God bless you all. Have fun. We'll see you on the other side. Good night.